Assalamualaikum and welcome to episode 8 of My Cave Podcast. My name is Atif. I'm here joined with 4 lovely individuals. Let's start from the left this time.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Cher. My mom always told me not to talk to strangers, but I think I'll make an exception just this one time. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, guys.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name's Subhan. And I took a shower this morning, so I feel great.
I can smell it.
I can see it.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Mohammed, and it's good to be back here. And I need to mention something you guys didn't know. I was supposed to be here about 2 weeks ago, but I'm one of those late runners, and I showed up while you guys started, and the door was locked. But I made sure to be on time today.
It's like being
here.
late for class almost.
Just nick him in the butt. Go ahead.
Assalamualaikum. No intro. Y'all know who I am. Noor.
New
No
intro.
intro.
You always need to stand
No
down.
intro.
Insert intro
You guys
here.
know who I am. You just know.
We have an episode entitled Happy New Year.
Like,
Personally, it's one of the best puns I've ever made.
thank you.
I told my parents about it. My mom didn't love it, however, my dad thoroughly enjoyed it. So thanks for joining us on the podcast.
No problem.
This morning. It's a lovely 8 a.m., very brisk outside. It's one of the colder days of the winter.
It's actually 8:08. Just letting you know, by the way. Just letting you know.
Minus
Why,
25 with
bro?
wind chill.
We need to get rid of Noor.
Yes.
Just letting you know.
It's cold. This has made me realize that it's been a very warm winter. It's only negative 25, and I'm like, ugh, it's so cold. And negative 25, any other winter, would be average.
Yeah, we pretty much had our hand held for us this whole winter,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, it was quite reasonable this whole week. The weather was great.
Right.
And I had to go out this Friday for a lab, and
So-
it was brutal.
My favorite kind of weather is cold outside, but very sunny. That's my favorite kind of weather. And when I say cold, negative 10 would be prime.
That's quite deceiving, though. Have you noticed that it'll be bright out? You're looking outside your window, the sun's shining in. You go outside, and it's minus 30. It's very deceiving.
Okay, but minus 30 is different. But minus 10, sunny outside, that's prime weather for me. Where I don't know how to describe it, but it's cold, but you stay warm with your jacket. It's perfect weather for me. So those 2 days when the weather was like that, I was living it up. I was so happy. And then out of nowhere, it gets negative. Yeah,
snowball
the
fight
whole
your
nine.
principal.
To be fairly honest with you, if the weather requires you to wear clothing, then it's not good.
I suggest a nudist colony.
Yeah.
I knew where that was
What
going.
was going through your head?
And we saved you.
I don't
way
like
we
wearing
did it.
clothes, Noor. That's what Noor just said.
I did say that. Quote me right now.
Why is he so egotistical
I
right
did.
now?
Man, this guy.
Noor,
I dropped a...
level yourself. Oh my
Bro,
goodness.
Very soon I'm gonna drop a rap album. Very soon. Gangsta rap's coming out very soon, guys.
Who is this?
DJ
I-
No.
DJ Noor.
DJ
Alright,
Nude.
I'm smart.
What's going on? What's going on in the world right now?
Hassan Whiteside triple-doubled last night with 11 blocks. That's pretty
who?
impressive.
Who?
Hassan Whiteside.
Actually, I think
Wow.
Subhan is a resident sports analyst.
Well, he
Yeah.
is. He is.
Definitely.
Where's-
I'm yet to
Which-
find somebody that knows more about not just hockey or not just basketball, but literally every sport. Probably knows
team?
curling stats.
What do you
as well.
know? Yeah, what do you know about curling?
Not a whole lot, actually.
Who's the best team in the world? National wise.
Is it Pakistan?
Oh, no. Maybe Canada
I think
or...
it's Pakistan.
Canada or...
Canada.
Yeah,
Pretty
Canada's
sure it's
really
Pakistan,
good.
actually.
They gotta be.
Yeah, I think you know what sucks? We have a WhatsApp group where we all chat. And so whenever something happens that's significant in sports, I'll update the guys about it. And then nobody cares, except for Subhan. And then Subhan will be like, that's awesome, that's so sick. And everyone else is like, damn, I'm not really into sports. How can you be a guy living in Canada at the age of minimum most guys there are at least 19 and not be into sports? What do you do? What do you do?
Are you trying to say that all men have to watch sports?
No, I'm saying you have to thoroughly avoid sports.
What do you talk about at the water cooler at
Yeah,
work?
what do you
I mean?
what do you talk about? Rap albums?
Yeah.
No, you don't, Noor. You work at Best Buy with a bunch of brown guys. They don't listen
There
to
you go.
rap.
He talks about phones and phone plans.
So, recently,
MC.
so I realized this guy named Salman Khan. And apparently everyone likes him in India or Pakistan.
Yeah, it's an Indian thing.
Is it Indian thing?
Yeah,
it's an Indian
Oh,
thing.
no?
It's an Indian
Let's
thing.
go across the other border.
Yeah.
It's not. Okay. No problem.
If we had a large Desi audience, we could all talk about our favorite Bollywood movie. But let's do it anyways. Mine is Lagan.
Yeah.
My favorite Bollywood actor just walked through the door, actually.
Yeah. I think his name is Adam.
I think his name is Adam Zainul.
What's
I
your
think
favorite?
so.
What's your
I don't
favorite
know,
Bollywood
though.
movie?
Welcome, Adam.
I don't know.
They've lost, bro.
Oh my
Dave
god.
Dawson's really good,
They've
but it
lost.
was dark.
It was dark, man. Yeah, you're right. 3 Idiots.
Oh,
I didn't watch
dude,
that
we were
one.
talking about that at Outstar today.
Yeah?
Nice segue.
I don't think any of the viewers know what we're talking about right now.
So, 3 Idiots is a movie.
What's 3 Idiots?
188 in front of me, I'll tell you that.
My goodness. My goodness.
Hot fire.
3 Idiots is a movie about like 3 friends who are forced into university. It's like the story of every brown child. Like
Is it
they want to be engineers. and
Gala,
everything.
whatever?
Or like accountants
Is it
or
called
whatever.
Gala?
But Subhana's is
you
actually.
just
an
called it.
accountant.
It's called 3 Idiots.
No, it's not. It's something in brown.
It's literally called 3
But you
Idiots.
told me just right now in Ustra, you told me it's like Gala or something.
Lagan is a different movie. It's about
Lagan,
cricket.
Lagan.
The cricket movie.
Same thing, right?
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Gee. A new guest has joined us. His name just happens to be Adam. He's our resident hockey expert, actually, over Subhan. Go ahead, give your introduction.
Assalamu alaikum, my name's Adam. This is my second time being here. And I'm repping the copper and blue today because it's the Battle of Alberta. Go Oilers!
Go Oilers.
Berta.
Is Calgary still on their winning streak?
No, I don't.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
See,
not a
th-
big
I
hockey
love,
fan.
I
He
love
is
hanging
not.
out with
You know
Subhan
what?
and Adam because they like sports.
I like sports too.
No, name one player on the
He went
Oilers.
with me to the Florida
Bro,
game last
No,
I
night.
know
actually
hockey's
has-
so good.
Yeah, no, it actually has considerable knowledge.
I
in
just
hockey.
don't. I just don't talk about it. Yeah, I
You
want
should
to
have
talk
heard
about
him
it.
last week talking about Yarmer Yager. Oh my
Yarmer
God.
Yager. Okay.
Yeah, he was
okay.
like.
So
Wait,
guys,
you don't like
guys,
Yager?
No. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this. Okay,
Because he's
so,
on Florida?
So
That's the game he went to?
Adam, being a best friend he is, right? He actually invited me to an Oilers game for the first time ever, right? So
Okay, well,
we
that's
saw, like,
not a big. He's not even an Oilers fan. He's a
I'm
Toronto
not. I'm
fan.
not. I'm a Maple Leafs fan, right? But Yarmer Yager was like I grew up with this guy, like I've
his
seen
house?
him.
You
Not in
grew
his
up?
house, but like in my
That explains your mullet.
Yager comes onto the ice and North's like, Dad.
Well, so Yarmer Yager, like ever since a kid, right? Like on like the NHL, like 02, whatever.
Yo, probably ever since your dad was a
PS1.
kid.
Right? So I used to pronounce his name. I'm pretty sure everyone did. Jarmer Jagger.
No.
Everyone
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that. No?
No.
You never did that?
I always said
no?
Yager.
No?
Say that.
But yeah, so I seen him. It's the first
I
time.
know how to read,
This
so.
is like it's like seeing, I don't know, like Kobe Bryant, right? First time ever. Like he was close, so close. He actually ran into the boards, and we were like in our boards.
Starts crying.
That was a great experience.
No,
All right.
it was so like bad with Noah that like people around us were like, why is this guy wearing an Oilers jersey and like loving Yager so much?
Yeah.
Toronto
That was
Maple
amazing.
Leafs, losers since 1967.
Hey.
You ever see the
Hey.
temperature chart that was like minus like 7,000 degrees Celsius equals hell freezes over equals Maple Leafs won the cup.
That's so unfair, though. So unfair because the Maple Leafs came around like a long time ago.
Okay.
Long time ago. And the Oilers.
They were one of the original six,
Yes,
yes.
the original six. And the Oilers came around 1979 from
Okay.
the. What's it called again?
WHA.
The WHA.
Okay.
Right? So you can like compare the Oilers to the Leafs, right?
I
The
mean-
Leafs are second in Stanley Cup championship.
Okay,
Stanley Cup
but
wins.
no team has ever hit 400 goals in a year, and the Oilers have done that 5 back-to-back
The
consecutively.
Oilers suck though. You can't really like really
Ain't-
back it up.
Hey, you
Anyway.
know what? You know what?
Anyways, moving on from this whole
I love-
hockey thing. Moving on.
Fine.
We're going to move on to the question and answer segment of the show. Today's question came in from, I don't remember what I had for the alias, but let's make one up. Plaid shirt 49. I say this because Melhem is wearing a plaid shirt. Is that plaid?
And
Checkered.
he has Dodge.
I
Dodge
take it
flag.
back.
It's a Dodge truck.
Yo, what's the difference between plaid and checkered?
Plaid is like more design focused, I think.
What?
I don't know. Honestly,
Don't take it from me, take it from Cher. He's our resident.
If you
To
can
be
fashion
honest,
expert.
I don't think there is a difference. between
If,
plaid and
if you
checkered.
can play checkers on a checkers
Okay,
shirt,
moving on to our question and answers.
it's good.
The question for this week is, how come in the description of the podcast we have ourselves entitled as Canadian Muslims and not Muslim Canadians? The podcast is inspired by frequent Boston pizza conversation. My Cave offers informal Islam-centric conversation about what it means to be a Canadian Muslim. And I got that off the top of my head.
Hey, good job, man.
I'm just going to start with it. This actually, when this question was asked, I was like so surprised. I was like, "Yo, we actually got a good question."
We have educated
we actually got a question.
So, So the reason why we decided with Canadian Muslims is because personally, I felt like I was a Canadian before I was a Muslim, in the sense that, of course, I've been like born Muslim and raised Muslim, but I had to find Islam for myself, right? And so finding out that I was Canadian was a easier discovery than like what it means to be a Muslim to me. So just in the order of like how I identified, I first identified as a Canadian, and then later identified as a Muslim.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a... Sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say that's interesting because growing up in the north side, I feel like there's a lot of racism. I remember even on my hockey team, that there were like kids that were like, call me out and things like that. But I think they're just jealous.
Brown
Because I knew
sugar?
how to skate and I was a brown kid.
And you already had a beard.
Yeah.
At like
6 years old.
8 years old.
But yeah, I actually, I'll say that the reason why I think it's referred to as a Canadian Muslim sounds better. It's calling someone like a Muslim Canadian, which doesn't really make sense, because if you're calling someone African American, right? Africa is their heritage and they're American, but our heritage isn't being Muslim, right? That's a religion, so it's a little bit different. So it's a bit of an anomaly there. So I would just think it's like, sounds better as a Canadian Muslim. And I kind of agree with Atif that you are a lot, you're able to find your identity as a Canadian maybe a lot easier for some people than being a Muslim.
So I also agree with Atif and Subhan, and the reason that I prefer to have Canadian Muslim written is because our podcast is not only aimed for Muslims, it's also aimed for Canadians as well. And another goal of ours is to provide dawah for Muslims. So, you know, saying Canadian Muslim, I think, is a little bit better in
Also,
our
it's
case.
like it's the perfect way to describe. We're a podcast that talks about like Allah and hockey. It's great. This is like this is literally what it is, meaning Canadian Muslim.
Yeah.
I think being a Canadian Muslim, though, it also gives you a sense of unity and, you know, being part of, you know, Canada. Whereas being just a Muslim in Canada just kind of, it gives me like an image of us being like in our own bubble, not part of like the
Outsiders.
greater Canadian society, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the beauty of being a Canadian Muslim, is like, you know, you're part of Canada, and what makes Canada so great is the multiculturalism, right? So that's just something that I feel ties into what we're talking about.
You guys got anything to say?
And now we're just going to stand up with the Canadian accent. Just kidding.
Well, I just have to ask, actually,
Flags right there.
what is the difference
Between a Muslim Canadian and a
in a
Canadian Muslim.
in your guys'
To
opinion?
me, a Muslim Canadian kind of emphasizes a little bit more on being Muslim, and Canadian is like something like, okay, fine, like, okay, I guess I'm Canadian. It's like kind of this
so they're not quite
reluctancy.
proud of them being a Canadian.
Yeah, I think like, but Canadian Muslim doesn't really make it sound like you're not proud of being a Muslim. It just sounds like you're proud of being a Muslim who just so happens to also be Canadian. So it's like that incorporation of the two like cultures.
For myself, for someone like you who later on in my teens identified myself as a Muslim practicing, I was able to, you know, grow up with the Canadian culture and that, and then start practicing Islam. So
Yeah.
I would consider that myself being a Canadian Muslim in that way.
What about
No,
you,
it's like-
egotistical?
Yeah, word. What is this alter ego? Can we talk about it for a second?
Are you like jealous
who I
that
am.
Barack Obama likes Kendrick Lamar over Drake or
Yeah.
something?
I don't know.
You know,
I
it
either
does look like a
actually.
Drake fan.
Honestly, after listening to Nas, I like Nas now.
Okay,
But-
but Muslim Canadian.
Whoa.
Made you look. Okay.
He shouted that into the mic. I'm so sorry, listeners.
Look at the
made you
sound
look.
waves on that.
Yeah, look
you
at
should
that.
freestyle
You see
for
it?
us.
So one of the best. Actually, I'll tell you guys later. But yeah, I agree with all you guys.
What? One of the best.
Worst
I'll tell you guys later.
response.
But yeah, I agree with
I actually do. Like, yeah, I'm Canadian.
Way to
like,
give a
Muslim is
thoughtful
not
response.
like, being a Muslim is not. It's not like a country. Like France, it's not like a race. It's your faith and your religion, right? So you can't say like you, honestly, you don't even have to always mention that you know you're a Canadian Muslim, right? You should again be proud of Islam, but actually Islam teaches you that you should be you know in the society, right? So they're both intertwined, I think.
Okay.
Fairly honest with you, that's why Islam really teaches us to be part of the society, right? Not to be in our own bubble.
Nuh
So-
is, if you're hearing all this background noise, it's because Nuh can't sit still. What's wrong with you?
I can't sit still, man.
Just sit
I
down.
hate being
Put your
forced-
arms down. There we go.
It's all good, man.
I feel like Yager. Is this what your dad feels like?
But
All right.
did you guys hear what I said, by the way? If not,
Yeah.
just comment below.
He said, you know what makes Noor like so egotistical? He's so aware of this microphone. Like
I
no
can
one
see
else
it.
is this aware. No
Bro,
one ever really
when you
talks.
put a black man in front of a microphone,
You're black?
I think so.
You listen to AC/DC. So.
Ooh.
Okay, moving on from the question and answers now. Do we have any more banter to go through, or do you want to just dive into the topic?
Let's dive right
Let's
in.
dive right
man.
in.
That's Michael Phelps.
So today's
Say that.
today's topic is a little bit more lighthearted. We've talked about a lot of heavy stuff. We've talked about mental health. We've talked about substance abuse. It was getting pretty deep in the podcast.
And Noah's mustache.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I shaved it off.
Noor stash. Thank you so much.
Wow.
So today's topic is a little bit more lighthearted in the sense that we I don't know, what am I trying to say?
We're gonna freelance a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So today's topic, anyways, is just stories from school, preschool to university. Unless are any of us past university?
Yeah,
I didn't go to preschool.
Is there
yet.
anything past
I have
university?
some pretty funny stories.
Okay, great. So, Adam, go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna give it to me?
Yeah, well,
It's your time to shine, man.
you tried to grab the mic from him.
Spit it.
so-
Spit it.
Well, I mean, growing up as a Muslim in Edmonton, most of the schools I went to, I was part of the small Muslim population there. So, you know, you guys can obviously picture, for example, the awkward situation of when you're trying to make wudu. And, like, a kid comes in and you have your foot in the sink. I mean, I don't know what to do, you know, you just, like, make eye contact, be like, what's up? Or do you just kind of, you know, put your head down and keep going? That was always the hard part, man. And then, but, you know, being a Muslim in, like, a school like Strathcona, where I was one of the few Muslims there, it also kind of forced me into a role of, like, okay, so if we want to have a Jummah Salah, then I'm going to have to, like, buck up and, like, you know, do the khutbah sometimes, right? So, yeah, like, it kind of pushed me into, like, a role, like that, like, those funny situations of being the only Muslim forced me into a role to, like, take on a bit of a leadership thing where I'm a bit of a quiet guy, so I kind of fall back a bit. But there was nowhere to hide. So yeah, I'll let someone else talk. I've been talking for too long.
I'm still in high school, so like my stories are probably like from last year. I think like last year, one of the brothers Yahya and I were leading the khutbahs at our high school, and so one week, like me and him would he and I guess would alternate. And so one week I was doing it, and the only person there was me and Yahya. Like, we were the only people there. So I was giving the khutbah to Yahya. And then, like, at one point, he had to, like, get up and leave. And so, like, what do I do then? So I, like, stopped talking. And then he, like, came back in, and then I resumed from where we left off. Then we just prayed and left.
Dang.
That's awesome. Actually, one thing I want to start off by saying about my high school experience is that me and Subhan actually went to the same high school. We knew of each other,
What?
but we didn't talk.
No.
You went to
And-
Oscar Romero?
But
Yeah.
you guys are brown people
We
in a Filipino
we
school.
just kind of did like the head nod because we were both involved in sports sort of thing, but
Yeah.
we
It's
knew we didn't know each other, and now we're
Sub-G.
sitting in a podcast together. Look at that, hey?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
To be honest with you guys, I commend both of you for taking on the roles that you did in high school because, to be honest, I didn't. I don't think I wasn't as much of a practicing Muslim as I am now. And I also went to a Catholic school.
No, I wasn't talking about him. I didn't say
Subhan's agreeing. He's like, this
Let me-
kid
let
was
me just-
terrible. I
This is
saw
what
the
he did.
things
This is
he
what
did.
you were like, I wasn't really practicing. Subhan was like,
You know,
like
like viewers can't
like
see
a-
you nod your head,
like
right?
yeah, but like okay, let me describe this as best I
Yeah,
can.
describe it.
Like a very nonchalant shake of the head.
No, because I remember, obviously going to high school at Share, but we used to, like, our high school was really close to Mac. And on Fridays we used to get out early.
Yeah.
And I was so bad, I used to try to find excuses to, like, make my way to, like, the second Jummah or something. Because my mom's like, you better be there at, like, 1:15. And I'm like, okay.
So we went to a Catholic school, and we were off at 1:20, which actually made it easier to go to Jummah than going to any other school.
Yeah.
Yet I still didn't take much of the effort. I regret, but
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
I guess you guys could say that you shared high school together.
Oh,
See, like these
okay.
puns need to stop.
No, they don't,
I
man.
get it. His name is Share, like the word share.
The listeners get
Aw.
it. His name is Cher.
The listeners are like a share on the podcast. I'm not listening.
I'm like Boston
Too
pizza.
many
I'll always,
puns.
always give it that cheese.
Oh my god.
Out of your. Oh, man.
There is one story though that I want to quickly share with you guys. I don't know if Subhan you had graduated already or not. So our school didn't get into too much trouble. It was a Catholic school. It was a small school, so we pretty much stayed out of trouble. But there was this one incident that happened continually. There was this one guy who would like feces on the wall. I don't know how to say it.
Feces is not a verb.
Feces on a wall.
It's feces, but singular.
Yeah, a singular one. On the walls in the washroom. So we called him the Phantom Pooper because nobody knew who he was, right? And like, not only did he just poo on the wall, he wrote messages in it. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, it's one thing to do that.
Were
but
they poetic?
write in it? I didn't see any literary devices or anything like
Are you
that.
trying to point fingers?
Like it's a Catholic
If
school.
this
come
was
on.
if this wasn't like an edgy podcast, we could make the best pun. I guess he was talking.
Oh, okay.
What?
Nice.
I don't
That
get
was
it.
witty.
I hope no one is eating while they're listening. To this. Like,
Go ahead. Is that just a story?
That was the
Subhan, were you
story.
the Phantom Pooper?
No.
Okay.
I think that might have been the year after I left.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Throwing them off your trail. Nice one, Mr. Phantom. Melham Noor, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I have a few stuff to say.
Oh,
Few
okay.
stuff.
Can I say them right now?
Go ahead.
No,
no?
save it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Moving on. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So in grade 1, what happened? Well, I'm gonna tell a story. What happened? Actually,
All
one
of us talking
story.
about high school. And
So
you
I
said-
have 2 stories in grade 1. Actually, grade 1 was a big year. So let me explain what happened. Okay. So first one, we used to have at the end of the day, you used to have a reading like time, whatever. When a
Deer?
teacher, no,
Drop everything and read.
no. When a teacher,
You guys didn't have deer?
No, I had deer.
I have no idea what that is. But when a teacher actually
idea.
reads to you, right? So you're in a big circle
Story
and the
time?
teacher reads to you. Story time, reading time, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of different names, right? And then
I'm impressed you
we
could
used to
read
have,
in grade 1.
yeah, I was a pretty good reader. But in grade 1, what happened was that there was a whole bunch of stones in the carpet, right? Especially if you guys are in elementary, we have carpets in schools, right? So there's a whole bunch of those mini stones, small stones, right? So what happened was that one of the kids told me to put the stones in my ear.
Oh my god.
And then I said no. And then he's like, I dare you. But back when you're in grade 1, you
That
say,
is
I dare
personal,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, it was personal and you had to do it. You had to do it. You had no choice. So I did it, right? And then what he does, like, move your head around so it comes out, right? So it happened the first time. It happened the second time. But it didn't happen the third time.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
what? What happened? Right? So,
I knew.
yeah.
I have
You
a
have a
rock
rock
in
in
my
your ear?
shoe.
I had a
right
rock
now.
in my ear.
I have a rock in my shoe right
So
now.
did
I
it get
dare
it
you to
out?
put in your ear, man.
No.
I dare you
But
put it
it's
in.
14 years later. No. But, yeah, that was one story. And another story in grade 1 is that so what happened is that we came into school, and then there was a girl, and then we put in our shoes in the shoe rack, right? And then it was close to my shoe. So when we stood up, we essentially unintentionally kissed, unintentionally, right? Lips touched each other, right? And then we were like, ew, back in the day, like cooties. Remember cooties, guys? Like I was scared for a week. Like I actually thought I was gonna die. Like I thought cooties was an actual disease. Like, and I thought I was gonna die. So yeah, I was pretty stressed out. I told my mom about it, and she's like,
I think we have to further investigate into this.
Yeah, I
You
think
have to
I'm
find her.
yeah. So
What if
that,
that's your soulmate?
nah, man, it's like a long time ago.
Speaking of grade 1, I remember this is my favorite story to tell people when we talk about school. So in grade 1, I had my best friend, his name was Xavier, and this was all the way back in like Ontario, right? And he was also my worst enemy in that we would compete in everything. So like we had a daily handwriting of a page, and so Xavier wrote so big, and I have really small handwriting, so he would always beat me, right? So I would be like, we would get like our papers, and we both acted like we were nonchalant, just writing really fast, but both of us knew that we were like competing against each other and just scribbling away, and like it would take me so long because I had such small handwriting, and he would be like writing like 4 lines and he'd be done. So like I went to my teacher, Miss Guthrie. I still remember her. I went to Miss Guthrie and I was like, Miss Guthrie, I don't mean to like call anyone out, but I have small handwriting and some people have really big handwriting and we don't write the same, okay? And she was like, yeah, but I mean, you could just write bigger. And I was like, okay, Miss Guthrie, you asked for it. And so next day, I got my page and I was like, wait till she sees this. And I looked at Xavier and I smirked. and I wrote in huge letters. I wrote "Hi." It filled up the whole page, right? And then I handed it to Miss Guthrie, thinking I was like the smartest dude ever. I was like, "Here you go, Miss Guthrie, telling me I can write big and everything." And she looked at it and she was like, she flipped it over and she's like, "No." And I was like, "What do you mean no? What? He can write that big? I can't." And so like ever since then, I think that's where my whole like to this day, if there's an easier like way of doing things, I still go towards that. Even if like I had to like plan things out, or like if I like multiple choice tests when you have to read a source, I just read like literally one paragraph and get all the information from there. And it still like influences me to this day, that whole mindset.
That sucks.
I mean, I do good on multiple choice.
Damn.
I have a question for you guys. In elementary, did you guys have like a point in a grade where your teacher had like some sort of teddy bear or something like that with a few things, and then they'd appoint a student to take it home and take care of it?
We did
At
that with
some
a
point?
hamster,
Really?
like a real life.
Wow.
You took care of a inanimate object?
I think so.
Our teacher didn't trust us,
The
man.
teddy bear's gonna tell
And it was an
me,
honor.
I better make sure he gets to watch Teletubbies.
Actually,
You know what's a big honor actually back in elementary is when actually the teacher used to tell you to take the attendance to the office.
word.
Yeah, no.
That
Yeah.
and when there's a fire drill, and you have to take like the attendance from that and run it over to like the
You were
secretary or whatever.
trusted.
Yeah.
The best is when it was your birthday. Then you got treated like a king.
Or did you guys have like a
They
weekly
said your
like
name on
line
the
leader?
announcements.
You have that?
Wait, sorry, what?
A weekly line leader? It's like whenever
Yes.
there's a line.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
yeah,
To
absolutely.
walk to the gym from the classroom.
Exactly. I got that a lot.
They don't trust you at the back of the
backtracking,
line.
How did the hamster experience go?
I never got it.
wow.
My parents were
got
like,
it.
hell no, don't bring that home.
Of
Oh,
course,
actually,
yeah.
and I have another story in grade 1.
Oh,
Grade
wow.
one's a
Grade
great,
one was a great-
grade
yeah,
one's a great
prime-
experience.
No, never got past grade 1.
So actually, this teacher, her name was Miss Wakabayashi, right? Why are you laughing?
It's better than Miss
That is
Guthrie.
sweet.
It's a Japanese name. It's beautiful. So
You're probably butchering it, but that's okay.
Wakabayashi.
We're sorry.
She's amazing.
She's listening to this at
Japanese
home.
But what happened? Wakabayashi. But what happened is that what happened exactly? Oh yeah, I remember it now. So she told us. Okay, so she told us to be quiet. Okay, during the reading time. It's all happening during reading time. I don't know why. Like, so she told us to be quiet, right? And I was still talking to some of the friends I had. So she said, "Be quiet," and I said, "No." I don't know why. I don't know what made me say no, but I said no. And then she's like, "Nu, be quiet." They pronounced my name Nu back in there, right? She's like, "Nu, be quiet." I'm like, no. And then she's like, all right. So she told my parents, my mom. Like, man, I got the
beat you.
biggest beating of all time. Like, that feels. I still remember it till this day. Because actually, my mom actually, we have a culture in our house, like, don't talk back to your teachers. Teachers are like your second parents.
That's not just your house.
I think it's my house.
Common etiquette.
Pretty sure it's only my house.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
That's common
but-
etiquette.
Nah, it's pretty sure it's my house.
Okay, fair enough. We'll say
No, you haven't
it's
told us
your
stories?
house.
Did you
Okay.
tell us one? You didn't.
I didn't tell you a
You
story.
didn't tell us a story. All eyes on you. Everyone look at me.
Well, I can tell you a general.
My eyes on-
Myself, what do I look like? Just like a good guy, right?
I think you're
Yeah,
shy.
I'd
I'd
say
be
so.
a good kid, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Back
Looks
in
can be
grade 2,
deceiving.
man, I had a terrible, I guess, a mentor, buddy who was a menace, and I took advice from him.
Dennis?
The menace.
Dennis a menace.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
so I took advice from this guy and followed him around, and
Okay.
I was one of those guys who's in the office pretty much every day.
Wow, really?
And that's
wouldn't
not
expect that.
exaggerating.
I would never have thought.
I wouldn't have
I would
expected
never
that.
So
thought.
it got to a point where my mom actually had to show up. I'm not sure if she spoke to him, but she gave him like a death stare, and he got the points after
Nice.
that.
In grade 5, you know how like you have to write your name and then your date, the date? So like on the date I wrote, "Wouldn't you like to know?" I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, I'm such a funny kid. And then like the principal called me in, and he was like, "Yeah, you're being a smart aleck." And like I grew up and I was like, "Smart aleck?"
What's
Like
that?
this dude could call me a smart aleck.
But you can't say it, so.
But like that's because
Okay.
this is a PG podcast. I guess that was kind of PG.
Yeah, you're a
Honestly.
kid, man. He's a principal.
You know what we should do? We should raise up the ratings for this podcast very soon.
Do you want to start cursing?
I kind of want to do. Okay, but I have another story in grade
I don't
8,
think I've
actually.
ever heard you
Grade
swear.
8.
Oh, I've heard you swear all the time. One time you said the F word just out of nowhere.
I've never heard him swear.
That was Zeki. But
I heard about that story. I heard about that story. Yeah.
that was
Not here to defend his honor now.
Yeah, word.
well, what happened in grade 8 actually was
Okay, you got past grade 1.
Yeah, past grade 1. 7 years later. So grade 8, what happened was we used to walk around the neighborhood during a class called DPA. You guys all know DPA?
Daily
Remember that?
physical activity.
Hey, you remember that? That's good. So what happened is that what happened exactly again? Oh, this is what happened. Okay, so
Why does he
walking
not
down,
remember his story before he
I can't.
talks?
Okay, so what happened is that
It's like I have a story.
we had to.
It's like 10 minutes.
So we had to. We were walking down the neighborhood, and then that one game we all played as a kid. It was called Nicky Nicky Knock Door or Nicky Nicky
Yeah.
Knock Door, whatever. That game,
This is not
right?
Nicky 9 door.
You ring people's doorbell
And
and
then you
run
run.
away.
Yeah, so that's what we did, right? So I did that for the first time. And obviously, I don't
In
know why
grade?
I got caught. I got caught by some driver. What happens? A driver was walking past.
Only knew.
No,
Only knew.
everyone didn't get caught. Only I got caught. Okay, and the driver was walking past us. Not walking past
Driving?
us. Driving past us. Okay, and then he saw me, right? And then he goes to my teacher and says, "Yo, there's one black kid in one of your group. He rang the doorbell, and then he ran away." But it felt pretty like why you have to refer me to
Why
that.
you gotta do me like that?
Why?
driver?
Why did you snitch? Like, honestly, like I was in grade 8, you know.
Nora's like behind his mom looking at the driver like
I was so mad.
Snitches
I was really
snitches.
mad. But you know what? It was a great experience, I think. It was cool. I like it. It's a fun game.
You guys had boring school lives. These are all the stories you can get.
To be
I
honest,
have a lot of stories,
I
but
don't
they're
remember.
not
I feel
they're
like-
not suitable for this audience.
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
honest, I believe it or not, I did stay out of trouble, at least from what's documented.
I don't-
And that's for two major reasons. Number one is I was heavily involved in sports, so you generally stay quite disciplined. And number two is, like most Pakistani children, you're absolutely scared crapless
Of your parents.
of your parents.
Well, I have like a bit of a funny story. So like, I mean, during my junior high years, like grade 7 and 8, I kind of really slacked off. So my report cards got so bad that like they used to mail your school
Yeah.
Yeah.
school
Oh, yeah.
like interim marks there.
Yeah.
So I would like take mine and I would like hide them behind the freezer. Like no, I'd hide them behind the freezer in my garage. And then like 8 years later, my mom would be cleaning and she'd be like, "Hey, what are these?"
I had him
What
come
are
here.
those?
You're getting a beating for 8 years.
You get 8
No,
years
what
with the beats.
I
The
think
good news was in grade 9 I
Beats
turned
by
it
mom.
turned it around and I got into a good high school. But like yeah, it was so bad that like I'd get like my actual report card and I would like hide it. Then the teachers would be like, "Hey, you have to get this signed." And I'd be like, "Oh crap, I gotta give this to my parents now."
Just do fix signature.
I think I lucked out in my earlier years because my mom doesn't know how to use a computer, so she couldn't go on School Zone.
Oh, school zone was the worst.
School Zone was like every brown guy's worst nightmare.
It
man.
was.
Not really.
The
My
worst.
parents-
Why weren't you at school today?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
But don't you also get a call home?
You were a good kid.
Yeah, but they
I'm
call
not a
it
good
like
kid.
4:00 when your parents are at work. Like, so you just answer the phone yourself.
No, but my parents are like very strategic. So my mom works during the morning and my dad works during the evening. So like someone's always home.
That's why.
No, the worst was that like they would put your marks on school zone. So like my dad would check and he wouldn't even tell me anything. He would come home from work, open his lunch bag like he's gonna empty his like containers. Then you'd see like papers and he'd just like drop it on the table and I'd be like,
Oh.
Gives you
That's so weird. Adam's dad looks so nice though. I can't.
And
imagine.
it gives you that look, right?
yeah, but when you
Yeah.
have a 59 in bio 20, I mean not bio 20, like grade 8 science or whatever.
Oh, whatever.
Science
Dude,
8.
the grades don't even matter in junior.
Yeah, I
high.
know.
I don't
in
remember
grade
just
9
chill.
they do.
No,
In grade 9 they do.
no. In grade 9 matter because
I mean, in grade 9, I
Matter.
guess.
Well, grade 9 was like, my UFA contract year. I turned it up, but grade 7, 8 was like just kind of flying by.
Rookie years.
rookie years.
Well, grade 8, the Oilers were in the 06 playoffs, so I couldn't really...
Oh, I came to Edmonton in 2006, and I came for game 6, which we lose? Yeah, we lost.
Against
Yeah.
Carolina?
We
Yeah.
won.
No, we won that.
Game
we
6?
Lost,
Yeah,
we
we-
lost in
Okay,
game
yeah,
7.
yeah. We won. I automatically turned into the biggest Edmonton fan. I was like,
Bandwagon.
yes. What? I'm still an Edmonton fan.
2
so-
days later, they
not
lose.
in-
I
but,
was
like-
like, where's my Carolina
Yeah.
jersey?
Rod
and then game 7 happened and we lost and I started crying. It was like
Oh, man, that's
tears.
It's okay, I cried too.
I cried too.
But, like that's weird for you. You were in high school. I was like
Cool
7 years
story.
old.
Let me tell you another story.
No, he wasn't in
No,
high school.
no,
he was in
no,
junior
you
high.
wait your
junior
turn.
high.
Last
Yeah.
story.
Wow.
Okay, the only story for me, I don't know if it's funny, but I think when I was in maybe 3rd grade, I got a really bad test mark. And like Cher mentioned before, you are scared of your parents. Like there is like this, like when you write a test, like I'm probably going to get beat for this. Okay, better start like running away now.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got a really bad test mark and I I was hiding the test in my school bag, and I put my school bag up in my room, which I never do, and then I looked at the test and I need your parent's signature. So I said, "Mom, what's Dad's first name?" She's
You
like,
wrote
"What?"
your name?
No, hold on.
Oh, wrote your dad's name?
And my mom's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, how do you spell like Abu or Dad's first name?" And she's like, "Why are you asking? Like, that's so weird." I'm like, "Oh, I'm just curious."
I just want to get to know my father.
And then I just like run upstairs into my room. I just like try to scribble down like B-A. Oh God, I don't remember. My mom like knocks on the door. I'm just like, "Just a minute." She like busts. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh God." At that point, I'm in like grade 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
like
you're
how
done.
can I? Like I try lying to her. She's like, "No, just beats me." No, but then she's like, "You know what? That's it. We're taking you to your dad." So my dad was at work.
She drove you to your dad?
My mom drove me for 25 minutes to go see my dad, and then I got to my dad's work, and just like, it was the worst.
You can
I honestly don't even remember. Once I got there, I just forgot what happened.
You can guarantee he didn't get his biryani that night.
Yeah.
No, nope, didn't get it.
Brutal.
All the worst. Sorry.
Beats by dad.
That's so real, man.
I got one. It's about a young kid in grade 1 who got that book for, you know when you could order books?
Yeah,
Scholastic
the-
book.
Scholastic
Yeah,
book
Scholastic
orders.
book
Yeah.
order, man. Okay, so I was so excited. I open up, I get it, and the first thing on the first page is a Pokemon book. I Choose You Pikachu. It was a red cover. I was like, oh man, I need to get this book. However, grade 1, you know, I had some financial problems, so
Obviously,
Only had enough
So-
pennies.
5 pennies.
The paper
instead-
route wasn't.
like the rapping career was not.
Oh, okay, got it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So basically, I don't know why I didn't ask my parents, but I just went to my dad's wallet. It was just sitting there on the counter, and I took I didn't take $10. I should have taken $10, not 50, and I got greedy. So I took one $10 bill and one $5 bill, and guess where I hid it? I hid it behind the laundry hamper in the washroom.
Oh,
So
no, you didn't.
naturally, I have it hidden there. When my mom's doing laundry, she pulls out like the hamper. She sees $15 there. She's like, asking my dad, "Are you missing $15?" He's like, "Actually, yeah." They're like, "Adam wanted a book too, didn't he?" Next thing I know, I'm like sleeping. They're like, "Where'd you get this $15?" I'm like, "I don't know." Needless to say, I didn't get the book. However, I did end up getting it at a further date
Yeah, like
for being a
yesterday.
good kid. No,
It's
Oh,
that book
I thought he was
textbook,
going to say
right?
it. However, I did
no,
get
it's like
Beats by
the
Dr.
storybook.
Dad.
it's like the TV.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
Have you guys ever bought anything from this class?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I'm a
That's like
veteran.
Franklin.
I
Oh,
never
that's
bought
like
it.
coolest thing you guys have got, or you thought it was cool.
X-ray glasses.
X-ray glasses.
magic-
And how did that
A
work?
Franklin flashlight.
Bro,
That's pretty solid,
that's
man.
sick.
That's really solid.
Man,
That's a
everything-
collectible.
I don't remember what I got, but all I know is that they all broke. That's very cheap stuff,
That's
man.
enough
That's
story,
so
guys.
cheap stuff.
You didn't know it's like $5.
Yeah, they're
My
so
cool
cheap.
objects would be between Captain Underpants book
Oh, yeah,
or
Captain Underpants.
a cool watch calculator.
Okay.
Oh.
Or like, remember those like fake little pocket like iPod things with like a stylus?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Those are
I think that's too advanced for my time.
Yeah, man. It was all about like Franklin and like
Franklin.
books.
Dude, I'm there
Touchscreen
with
didn't
you on
even
Franklin.
exist.
Have you seen the new Franklin cartoons?
No.
They're
I
awful.
stopped watching it.
Yeah.
Same
I
with
saw
the
he's
new
playing
teenage.
hockey in one, so you know it's good.
There's new Babar cartoons, man. It's so bad.
Ew.
It's so bad.
Babar. I hate
Are they still in French?
You hate Babar?
Yeah.
Wait, you hate Babar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Chill,
You hate
chill.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Dang, I'm
scared.
No need to get your trunk in a knot.
Oh, pun over pun. I like it.
All right. Well, I think we've kind of said all the stories we need to say. Anyone want to get anything off their chest last minute? Oh, I do. There's one of the brothers who listens to this podcast. I want to tell a funny story about him. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard that he's done ever. He's currently in Somalia, so he's left us. But I'm gonna leave this one for him, just a special little shout out. So he's a pretty timid guy, right? And so he doesn't really like talk outwardly or like super loud ever. So like in grade 4, there was a girl in his class named Michelle who like still like lives down the street from him, and like they've known each other since they were in like actually kindergarten all the way through like graduating high school. So he like gets up on his desk when the teacher's out. He like gets up on his desk and he's like, "Michelle, "You look pretty today," and then sits back down.
What a man.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Especially in like grade 4, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like the coolest thing I've ever heard.
That is impressive.
Awkwardly sits back down.
Are you sure he's in Somalia or Djibouti?
What? Same thing, man.
It's not the same thing.
Come on.
Tomato.
It's not the same thing.
Anyways, this has been the end of episode 8 of My Cave. My name is Atif. Along with me,
Adam Z.
Noah.
Hamid.
Subhan.
Share.
thanks for listening to today's episode, and we'll catch you next week. It's like.
Well, I'm